Good morning. It is the 6th of January. Not really. Obviously, I'm doing this at night, but it will be the 6th for you guys. Hope you guys have a blessed day. It's your boy Libra Got 90, back with another podcast episode 31, season 1. Now, this might anger a lot of Survivor mans, right? Because I'm going to be reading posts from Reddit, specifically about you already know, right? So it's no secret that a lot of survivors get. By the way, hold on. I just want to say this. There are episode, or at least one episode on YouTube Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Now, if you go to YouTube Music, you're gonna have access to all of my podcasts. It's only season 1. It's only been a year that I've been doing it, or close to 2 years. I would say 2 years being July, but. You have all the episodes on there, but if you go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you can definitely check those out there. I just have it just in case. Listen, I always tell people, please listen to these when they are just audio. You guys are working, you guys are grinding your asses off to go to work. Just listen to these when you're busy. You don't have to look at it. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? And I try to mirror other people who might be, because there's not a lot of us in the community that do long form content of just audio, right? So I just want to make it convenient for you guys. I still make or will make long form content as far as MP4, but this is just MP3. Just listen to this, just like you would with the music. I listen to podcasts that would just give you that type of gesture. Okay, so I'm a part of, again, Dead by Daylight Rage. We're going to be reading posts from Dead by Daylight Rage. It might not all be salty survivors, by the way, that I'm going to be reading, but one in particular that's in the thumbnail, this guy was very upset. I'm going to have his name blocked, etc. All right. Okay, so I don't know what the killer was. I put Legion in the thumbnail, so I don't know what killer they were using, but a lot of survivors hate Legions. But Legion is very easy it is what it is. It's a mending simulation with Legion. But okay. I assume this guy got tunneled, right? Because that's pretty much what he said. And he pretty much messaged him. He was on PlayStation. Because looking at these texts, I know what PlayStation looks like as far as the setup and the messages and stuff like that. He said, "Play the game right, you tunneling piece of sh." And he didn't spell peace, but we pretty much understand what he meant when he said he spelled it incorrectly, but it's fine. And then the killer said, "I didn't tunnel anyone. I chased who was there. Your message is super necessary." He meant to say unnecessary, but he said your message is super unnecessary and toxic. This community has a pretty bad rep because of DMs like this. Hopefully we can all be better about wins and losses and focus on practice rather than blame others when we lose. Have a great 2025. So this is before New Year's. He said, "Oops, super unnecessary and toxic as well as that." Yeah, so he meant to say that. Yeah, he meant to correct it. And then I didn't get a chance to see the entire, because the screenshot was kind of cut off. But he said, "Taking a hit for the Mason," I assume he meant Cheryl, "after got off hook thinking you wouldn't tunnel me and you chased me, but you did." And the killer main said, "Again, you were who I saw, who was in my line of sight. So move on forward." No, I'm sorry. He said, "So move forward," and I did. And then he said, "And you're right. I'm sorry for being so toxic." This is the survivor man responding to the killer. And then killers, and I'm going to give my take, guys, after this. I'm going to give my take after what I see. Killers shouldn't be expected to look, this is the killer's POV. Killers shouldn't be expected to look at someone and then think, "I just hooked them. I better go find someone else." That's not tunneling. Tunneling is making it a point to hunt down the same person. So I assume that pretty much this what the killer just said was, it's not intentional. I just saw you and I got to kill 4 of you guys. So you're taking it personally against me. Understandable. You know how survivors do. And then it says, "Killers shouldn't be expected to look at someone and think," okay, I pretty much read that same thing. He said, "Have a good weekend." And then the survivor man said, "No, that's targeting 2 totally different things. In this community," he really emphasized this, "in this community, people will tear you down, tell you up over it." I'm sorry, the way they reworded these things are so weird. I'm going to reread that again. I do apologize. Sometimes we get second chance in life to reread things again. "No, that's targeting 2 totally different things. And this community, he put this in bold caps. People will tear you up over it. He could have just, the way he worded that is very frustrating, but I'm going to let it go. I'm out the grammar police. I'm just saying to not do that in future matches because you will get more messages like this. I hope you have a great weekend. Okay. Let me get my take on that. And I'm pretty much be surfing through other stuff through Reddit. It is very it's very entitling for survivor mains to have this mentality of thinking that, okay, is it unnecessary? Is it annoying? Sure. But killers are going to do what they're going to do. Dude, I've been playing this game for 4 years. Killers are going to do what they're going to do. I don't know why we have this mentality. Like, I slide in DMs. Like, it's just like a park I slide. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if you're a killer that wanted to, like, prove a point, I'm going to slide in DMs just like this. I do not care. Have your settings turned off if you're on PlayStation 5 or 4. I don't care. But I'm not going to tell a killer. The only time I sort of tell a killer how to play, in my opinion, is if it's not to be like, I don't want you doing this against me because it's me. Like, don't tunnel, don't slug, don't camp. It's more like, don't be an idiot. Let me explain. I literally went up against, and I'm not going to get off topic, trust me. I'm not going to get off topic. But I went up against a Houndmaster. It's one of my most recent shorts. I went up against a Houndmaster. And for some reason, every now and then, I get a killer that just does things that I just would never understand why. Because it's like you're going to, like, so to make a long story short, we was in that, I forgot that one Oni map. I forgot what it's called, but you know, it's a dark map. I forgot what it's called. The Yamaka's Estate, something like that. This Houndmaster refused to like break Shack Pallet. Like the Shack Pallet was down. And this is how you know when a killer is like anti-loop already, because there are certain pallets I just think that if you are able to like have it dropped and you didn't get stunned, or that's all you did was get stunned, is that you would break that pallet. And this Houndmaster proceeded to just like not break the pallet. If I had better teammates or teammates who just knew how to like also hold their own in chases and stayed on gens, it would have been an easy 4-man out. Like I'm telling you, because it's like there are killers that be like, they're very stubborn, and I don't understand why, because you're just gonna lose the game. But that's pretty much the only time I do that. Or I'll talk trash. Like if you was trying to tunnel me all day, yeah, I'm just gonna trash talk. But I'm not gonna like tell you not to tunnel, because you're going to do what you're gonna do. So was the survivor main very salty? Of course, most survivors mains are going to be salty. A game that's asymmetrical, I want a lot of survivor mains and killer mains to understand this, right? And I don't know how long I'm gonna go today, but I'm just gonna go. So I'm trying to do like at least 15, 20 minutes, but if it's longer than that, then hey, it's not a problem. Again, stay getting your money, stay cleaning, doing what you gotta do, right? I'm up at night. It's Central, 7 a.m. Central time, but I'm up grinding on this. Wherever you are listening, I recommend YouTube music first, because if you're already on YouTube, that helps me out, right? So whether you want to listen to YouTube music for audio only, or if you have YouTube Premium, which is like $18, I'm not paying $18 for no damn. I'm not doing that. Or if you just watch me on YouTube, I mean, I would definitely appreciate that, because it helps me with views. Please like and all that good stuff. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that stuff. But my biggest thing with survivors is they have to understand that, like, at the end of the day, like, this game is asymmetrical. It's never going to be the same. It's never going to be where we can attack the killer and throw hands with them. It's never going to be that. And I just think that, like, a lot of killers, they have this mentality where it's like, I've seen a lot of Reddit posts. They get very upset. Well, this is why survivors get camped in tunnel, because they're always bringing up things that happen in their games. But like in our matches, if you play solo queue, at least, like I main solo queue, it is literally like one of the worst experiences. Like there's no hope. Like I don't see why people even have the mentality of thinking or expecting that I should escape every match. No, just try to have, like, I just care about fun chases. It's frustrating, yeah, when I don't see nobody on gens, but I just care about fun chases. That killer went up against, you know, an elite survivor, and they knew that it's not much that they were going to change in that situation, but hope to down me, it didn't be able to catch the last survivor or those other survivors that aren't that good in chases. Does that make sense? So a lot of survivors do stuff like that. A lot of survivors in Reddit. I'm just gonna be I'm gonna kind of freestyle this today, right? If you guys don't mind, I want to kind of go to like stuff that I'm just reading on Reddit and just giving my take. And let me know in the comments what you guys think. Like, I kind of want to have like a segment where it's structured, but if I kind of go off the rails and just talk about other things, please let me know if it's good or bad. Okay, it says, oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I do want to do this. I do want to read comments from that. So it did get like 26 comments, right? One guy said, "You're both right. Just like there's soft and hard camping, there's soft and hard tunnels. And soft and hard slugs, basically. The difference is that the soft versions are to chain to better overall plays, while hard versions represent as a bit of appropriate punnage." I've never seen that word before in my life. Tunnel vision. The latter can work as a strategy, but also represents a severe lack in macro play, as it fully relies on the opposing side to fail at recognizing. Hard versions of camping, tunneling, and slugging are some of the easiest strategies for even mildly knowledgeable coordinated solo queue to deal with, and Swifts can make short work of their users if they turn off the Swift's ultra rhythm weakness. The thing about, and this is elusive. No, it was yeah. I think his name was Elusive Puka. I don't know how to say his name. When a killer decides to, like, there are killers, like, especially when it was showing like the Prestige 100 icons or like high prestige, there are killers that will literally. So he mentioned about strategy, macro play, and gameplay, etc. So when a killer decides to, let's say you start the match, the killer chases me. I have a lot of hours, so I'm really good in chase. So most times I at least average like a minute plus in chase. That's average. That means there's at least more than that, right? And let's say a killer loses about a few gens. Let's say 2-3 gone, and it's like 2 gens left. At that situation, I'm not mad if the killer decides to want to camp and tunnel and slug, or try to, especially if they have a killer that's like really bad in like the beginning of chase. Like Trapper is a slow killer in the beginning when it comes to trying to like snowball. But boy, at the end game, if he knows what he's doing or she knows what she's doing, it can change a lot, right? So I understand why they do that, because they're trying to win the game. You got to understand, survivors. Killers are trying to win, just like y'all. Like, they don't want to lose the game. That's why, like, I just think it's very frustrating when there's a lot of survivors that's trying to have fun and meme and expect the killer. Expect is the word here. Expect the killer to say, "I'm going to try to take it easy on you." No, they're trying to play the game normally and win the game. You have to explain to me what's wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion, honestly. But I understand when it's a strategy, but when a killer says, "I want," because I'm gonna make this a very important point here. When a killer says, "I want to just tunnel out the best looking survivor," maybe they're high prestige, or maybe they look like they're a comp, or I don't know, they look like an easy target. And let's say they're not an easy target, and then you go after that one survivor that run you about 4 or 5 gens, or let's say 3 gens, and now you're down at 2. And then you complain and then say all these gens are flying, these survivor perks are this, these survivor perks are unfair. When you could have just said, strategically wise, what if I just left that survivor? Killers, I want to give y'all some game real fast, right? And I'm a little tipsy at night, but it's all good. I'm still give y'all some game. When y'all sit here and chase a one good survivor all game, like when y'all do that, and then y'all complain and moan and saying that the game is survivor side and nerf all these perks because you couldn't just leave that. Like, bro, leave that one survivor that's really good. Let's say you chase me in the beginning. If it looked like I make less mistakes than like the average survivor you go against, I'm holding my check spots. I'm not just easy dropping pallets. Not that I'm being too greedy. It's just that I'm reading the situation. So I'm not being greedy, but I'm reading the situation in chase to decide if I should drop a pallet, whatever. But if you're like as a killer main, you will know if that's the case or not, right? Why not just save me the best for last? on some Biffle type shit. Like, why not just save me for go after the other survivors, test the waters, and then see what they are doing. Does that make sense? Because a lot of the times you guys complain and say this needs to be nerfed and survivors are OP, but it's like y'all are literally by your own admission in egotistical ways, I will chase that one good survivor to prove a point. But you do understand, or maybe you don't, that if you leave that one survivor by themselves, what can they do? If you chase me and you say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna leave you alone because you look like you know what you're doing. What is the issue? What's the problem of going after another survivor or other 3 survivors that look like they may make more mistakes? And then let's say you slug them all out or you kill them all. Okay, you chance hatch. Okay, but let's say you don't even do that. Let's just say if you slug the second to the last, let's say you kill 2 survivors and then the 3rd survivor, you slug for the 4K. So you're trying to go after that one survivor. At least now everything is fair game. Yes, it is scummy in my opinion to bleed out that one survivor because you have to prove a point and prove I'm going to sacrifice you. Yes, I think it's scummy. I think it's annoying. I think there's bad mechanics in the game. But I know what happens. I understand that killers are allowed to do those things. And all I'm saying is that, like, if you leave that survivor, you at least get 3 or 4. Let's say even if you didn't catch that last godly survivor, right? Let's say she was a goddess in chase or he was a god in chase. Okay, you leave that one survivor be and you get 3 out of 4K. Like, say if they chance to hatch. Hatch is like 50-50. It can spawn with you or it can spawn with them. Okay, you leave it there. But at least you still don't lose the game, y'all. This is the issue I have with killers, that y'all don't see that. Y'all literally do not see that. Or y'all just ignore it because y'all are upset at that one survivor that juiced you and was dropping you off in chase. And you don't go against that. And that is why I say a lot of the times, MMR does not work in this game. It just cannot. How can it work in a game like this? Where you think that, like, it's unfair that you go against a survivor that know what they're doing. I'm tired of you guys physically tired. I'm tired. But I'm tired just like mentally in this game. Where y'all keep thinking that just because y'all bring up meta perks, that mean every survivors know how to use them. I see survivors who have windows of opportunity and they literally hold forward to yellow. That's all they know how to do. They're not patient in their chases. They're not patient in their mind games. They don't know about check spots. Stop just bringing up the fact that because we have perks, that means the brand newest person who just played Dead by Daylight can automatically run you for 5 gens. That's not how it works. The way they design killer nowadays, it's not even that simple to do. Does that make sense? Okay, so I know I kind of went off on like a long, but I kind of want to talk to somebody else about, or not talk to, but talk about like another comment. The guy named Don't Ask Me About Birds, interesting name. He said he was rude, but I don't know, kind of right. Takes 2 seconds to overlook the person you just hooked and move on to find someone else. I play killer often, and to avoid tunneling, I opt to at least go for the person that did the unhooking. Maybe it's because I play both. Understandable. But see, here's the thing. I want survivors to understand this, right? Like, killers, it's not even just about me saying, like, I know people be like, don't tell me how to play the game. It's not even just about saying that. They're going to do what they want. Chat, they're going to do what they want to do. See, one thing I was listening to this guy, and he's the only podcaster I've subscribed to, right? Very interesting. He was on Apple Podcast. There's a difference between Apple, like iTunes. I'm not on iTunes, so I did put the icons. I will put the link and all that stuff in the description. But if you guys are on here, I would rather you be on here. It helps him with engagements, likes. So if you guys are perfect with YouTube, stay on YouTube. But I do have my stuff over there. I don't have all the other episodes. But I just want to be clear. I'll listen to this guy, and he's a killer, man. It's called Camping Them Softly. That is, dude, he's very funny. I definitely recommend it. Like, it got me through the work day. I love listening to that because, like, he's very funny and very, like, you know what I mean? Because, like, he's very toxic with it. He talks about survivors. But I just want to be clear about my channel and what I do. Anybody who's been watching me on a consistent basis in DBD, I hold survivors accountable. I do. I hold survivors accountable. I don't do this thing where I complain and bitch and moan about just what killers are doing and just what the devs are doing. I'm looking at, well, how did we lose the game? Class, how did we lose? Were we not on gens? Were we not doing what we need to do? I hold us accountable. Because I'm always looking at what we could have done or what we should have done. I look at everything. I don't just look at what killers, the killers are the ops. Just like to us, we're their ops. Do you understand? As a killer man, if I was the killer man, you guys are survivor men, you guys would be the ops. Okay? And I don't sit here and tell the op it's like being in a real fight and somebody kicking you. Bro, why are you kicking? Okay, they're trying to like not get knocked out by you. All gloves are off. You guys know y'all play against killers that they don't care, bro. They tunnel. They want to win the game. Why do y'all do this? Y'all get mad. Like, I just expect it. The best thing you can try to do is boring. Is to try to run off the record DS, and the thing that makes it boring is one, it's filling up a perk slot that you could probably use to try to do other things. But also, it's RNG. You don't know if you're always gonna get a killer that's gonna be nice and kind. There are times where I looked at a killer and I'm like, damn, he could have tunneled, but he didn't. Like, hey, it'd been cool if you did. Because it's like, it is what it is. But then the thing that makes it annoying is, to me, is I'm playing with people who aren't on my team. Like, if I die and I get camped and tunneled out, but I had competent teammates, it's to knock out gens and not try to save and all that stuff at 5 gens. Because, I mean, if a killer have his mindset on getting me out the game, there's nowhere I can go. I just want to be clear for those altruistic survivor mans. If a killer, like, y'all love jumping off of gens and trying to take hit at 4 and 5 gens. It's different if we're at 1 gen. It's different maybe even at 2. It's different if, of course, if there's in game. But when y'all doing this at 4 and 5 gens, and that killer main, I don't care if they flashlight blind them, they teabag, gave them nopers, whatever. If they decided that you're going to die, you are going to die. Does that make sense? You are going to die. You're not going to escape that match. Does that make sense? I'm also going to be trying to make like maybe like another design for like maybe just specifically like the podcast. If this really takes off well, I want to do these. Again, I need engagements. I need more comments. I love the last video. It could have did better with numbers, but I appreciate those who are regular subs. All you guys pretty much tuned in. I thank you guys for that. I definitely recommend you getting the mug, because that's the only thing I can think of that you guys could be, if you guys are relaxing, or maybe you guys at work, and maybe I take my mug to work every day. I don't drink out of anything else but my mug. I love my mug. Okay, I love my mug. This is gonna be a little bit of promotion. I mean, this is just for me, my promotion on my podcast. For memberships, you guys from $4.99 a month, you guys get custom emoji badges like the cat. It just shows prestige cat. So if you're a baby kitten, you get from baby kitten to like prestige 100, and you become to like a cat, right? No cat in the hat, but you get like a cat. You get exclusive emojis you can use of Nia, of me laughing, me saying you can't guard me on my live streams, etc. Definitely take those out. You also get access to the podcast episodes, the videos. So only 3 people: Katana, Nail Bob, and my boy Midas. Those are only 3 members. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for supporting. But they will get this podcast before anyone else because I release it to members first. So you can always check those out. Plus also merch. I got, I think right now, 25% off everything. If you guys want to check that out, definitely get that You Can't Guard Me hoodie. I do want to kind of make things like, if this get big and popping the way I want to, I do, like, my channel is not it's not a podcast for real in the sense of like it's only podcast. But if you go to Spotify, if you go to Apple, podcasts, all that stuff, you'll see only just podcasts because it's just MP3. That's it. Whereas this is MP4, MP3, and unless something happens in the community, there's nothing else I can do. I can do these every week. I don't have a problem with that. I'm off on Sundays and Mondays from work, so I can do these every week. And I love doing these. I'm just venting, basically, and I'm reading stuff from Reddit. But all I'm telling you is that at the end of it, it's just about putting yourself in that mind frame of understanding how your opponents play. That's all I'm telling y'all. So when y'all complain about these things, about these killers, I don't expect any different, bro. I really do not expect any different. Okay. Let me see someone else says something else. This dude says, he said he was rude, but I don't know, kind of right. Okay, I think I already read that. He said, the thing is, this guy named Khalil, something like that. I don't know how to say his name. He said, the thing is, sometimes survivors are kind of stealth. So if you're not finding anyone and someone unhooked, you know where the people are. If you make back to the hook, don't find the unhooker quickly, but instead find a hooked person. You kind of have to tunnel or else you lose much pressure. I know tunnel is boring and all, but not much you can do about that sometimes. Just don't get all angry for a game and you'll be all right. So here's the thing, right? I just want to drop my phone. Give me 1 second. Like, again, like, if you play DBD, right, and you watch videos, you watch streamers, right, I'm telling you this now. There are a lot of people that they don't take this game seriously, especially survivors. They don't take this game seriously. Hold on. I want to message my one guy because I do want to. He didn't put the. Hold on. Yeah, he did. I'll say this. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to update something. One thing I will tell you is that at the end of the day, like, a lot of survivors, like, just watch survivors play this game. Just watch streamers, watch videos. There are a lot of survivors who be trying to, like, meet with the killer. They walk up. They're not trying to play for real. Y'all got to understand, not a lot of survivors are 10,000 hours survivor main, 8,000 hours my hours survivor main that's trying to win every game. I enjoy the sweat. If I have teammates who are sweaty, like if I get a killer that is good in chase and they do something that's like, wow, I didn't expect them to do that, and it's actually was a good play, I would be like, okay, cool. That would just up my game. You have survivors that will literally, they want to run in the basement. They want to play around. So they're not trying to get camped. They're not trying to get tunneled. They're not trying to get slugged. They're not trying to get that. But you got to look, but survivors, please look at it like this. Y'all got to look at it from the killer's perspective. They could have just went up against a Swift that literally, and I'm talking literally, just rolled them. I'm talking, they just did whatever they wanted to do. They just did however they wanted to do it. They literally just rolled them. So I want y'all to understand that killers, it's 4 against 1. They don't know who's in Swift. There are times where I've rarely won a game where I'm in a match with teammates that we just synergized. We have everything together. We're doing everything right. Correct? So I want y'all to understand that killer have to win the game. Like, y'all get upset over this stuff. Go after the unhooked. Don't go after the person that unhooked. I mean, don't go after the person that just got unhooked. Go after the person who just did the unhooking. Bro, it's nice if they do that, but if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it, bro. Like, why are you trying to... You can't tell these people how to play, y'all. This is your opponent. And I listen to Killer Man. They don't care. I don't know why y'all do this, man. They do not care. They want to win the game, brother, sister. I had a video 2 weeks ago of a Killer Man just bleeding me out. He could have gave me hatch. He could have just got the game over with. One thing I don't do is I don't bitch if I don't get hatch, bro. If I don't get hatch, I don't get hatch. I think it's awesome and nice if a killer sees that I'm a very good survivor. I'm clearly in a team where people just didn't know what they were doing. Because he can see, he chased all these other survivors. And he sees that I'm outplaying him or her, or I'm making good plays, or I'm on gens. And if they want to give me hatch, cool. If not, cool. Does that make sense? Okay, let's go back to another one. Just want to say, One guy said it's Celica Mama. I don't know what her name is. I think that's how you say it. She said, I mean, he did say play the game right. She put it in quotes. And a killer job at the end of the day is to kill the survivors. So play however you want to play. Yeah, pretty much. I don't disagree with that. Charity necessary, or floor smelling survivor. These names are. I want to do a video, no lie, of survivor names, like names in this community. It is really interesting and fun. Some of them are very funny. But it's Charity Necessary 5396 said the Survivor Handbook of Secret Rules. I like that. Secret rules that were completely made up. Says no tunneling allowed. But for real though, if a survivor doesn't want to be tunneled, there's a whole build that they can run with the perks that will help them. But I'm willing to bet they ran windows of opportunity. They put window of opportunity, life, and the other 2 perks. I'm actually gonna give that a thumbs up or an arrow up on Reddit. That's very good. That's a very good point. And I'm gonna say this why. They have off the record. They have decisive strike. They have they may have some other ones. I think Dance With Me, I'm not sure. But they have stuff to help you not get tunneled. Now, that doesn't mean if a killer doesn't want to specifically have. I think that's very interesting on both sides. I'm gonna tell you why. See, it makes sense because it's like, well, hey, they do have that, right? But off the record, I think they still have it where your aura is hidden or so, or grunts and pains for like 80 seconds. So you got to think if killer have like barbecue and chili, if they have any type of, because aura reading is meta for killer. Aura reading perks are meta for killer. So if they wanted to do that and not have the aura, have to being seen by killer, they can just run these perks. Nothing wrong with that. You get an extra hit. You don't make noise. All that stuff. Decisive strike. Yes, they nerfed it to the ground, just like they did off the record, where it doesn't work in game and all this stuff. But here's the thing: if a killer wants you off the game, they don't care about that. Why do y'all killers love bringing stuff? Oh, I'm getting annoyed a little bit. I'm getting annoyed just a little bit on this Sunday night. Because see, killers do this thing where they'll complain about this stuff. Like, oh, here's a suggestion. Why don't you run, if you don't want to get tunneled, or why don't you run off the record? Why don't you run decisive strike? If you don't want to be slugged, why don't you run unbreakable? Even though if you want to, unbreakable works one time. If you want to slug me back, you can just slug me back. Boon, I forgot what's that one boon where you can get back up, but even then that's RNG, right? Because the killer snuffs it out at some point, and you're not a buy the boon, you can't get up anyway. And if you're playing solo queue, it doesn't help you, because at least if you're playing in Swift, you can reach out to a buddy, be like, hey, I'm over here. But if you're not, then you pretty much back down on the ground. Why is it okay, killers, for y'all to bring up solutions and suggestions? But when I say, hey, when it came to the old Dead Heart, right? Run that one perk. I forgot, what is that? I don't know if they changed the name, but it's a perk where you can, when you, as a killer, and I don't play killer like that, but if you touch a gen, it makes you exhausted. I'm going to tell you why I brought that up. Class, let me tell you why I brought that up. Killers hated Dead Heart, the old Dead Heart. They always say, if you press E, you live. Or if you press X, whatever platform you were on, you live. Because you did that dash, right? Or Dead Heart for distance. You Dead Hearted to Shack, right? It helped you get there, right? And the old Dead Heart really helped against like Nurse, against Huntress, these Demogorgon, especially in like tight space. It really helped. Like I hated that they did that, because a lot of really good survivors really relied on that against really good killers. But when you use that perk, let's say if you touch a gen and you have I forgot what it's called, but you guys know in the comments, let me know. And you touch a gen, it makes you exhausted, makes you oblivious, or not oblivious in the sense where you can't hear, but you can't see, right? So that means if you have window of opportunity or woe, you can't even see yellow. Why is it that when we said, hey, why don't you run these perks to make it where you're exhausted? And I'm going to tell you why that works. Because when let's say if I'm a killer, and let's say I'm a huntress hypothetically, and I'm a killer and you touched the gen and you had dead heart, and let's say you were injured because dead heart only works when you're injured. If I chased you, you can't even get that off because you're exhausted, and likely you're going to be holding the turbo button if you're on console, or whatever button it is, or keys on the PC. You won't be able. I won't be able to you won't be able to get that off because you're exhausted. So unless you're gonna stop and try to hope that I don't see you and chase, you're gonna be exhausted. Why is it okay that that killers can give suggestions about, hey, if you don't want to be tunneled, bring off the record. There's decisive. But when we brought up solutions to Dead Heart, or I don't know, wait it out, forehead, wait it out. Y'all hated that. When we did, it's not always that easy. It's not always that simple. But it's the same thing with Survivor. If a killer wants to really tunnel out a survivor, I don't care if they, because of their, race, because of their name, because of their TTV, who cares what the reason is. Off the record is not going to stop a killer for going. That's not like if you hit that survivor and they have off the record, they, put you somewhere else on another side of the map, and now you got to try to chase somebody else. That's not how that works. It's simply, I know a lot of survivors would love it if it worked like that, but that's not how it works. It's simply, if a killer wants you out the game and they don't care about losing the game, and they make it personal, and that's what we call hard tunneling, they want you out the game, they're going to do it. If a killer wants to slug you, you can run off the unbreakable. They'll just knock you back down on the ground. Why do y'all do this? My only issue with killers, I want to be very clear. I don't hate y'all. I just hate the hypocrisy. And I would love to have this conversation. But see, every now and then I'll talk to somebody about Dead by Daylight. They'll see the merch. They'll see what I have on it. But I like to, you play DBD, or who you play, or how long have you... And it's I don't meet a lot of people who play, who some of them are killer, but it's just I don't do ad hominem attacks. I don't do personal attacks. I don't want that done on me. But it's I don't like where it's I don't get those responses in person. A lot of times I meet people, they get it. Maybe they don't want to be confrontational, it's fine. But I would love to have an actual debate, because I don't think what I'm saying doesn't make sense. It makes tons of sense. If you want somebody out the game, does anti-tunnel perk really matter? No. But I'm going to tell you the most demoralizing part. When you do all of that, right? One thing about me is let's say I have killers all the time doing that. Not all the time, but they'll tunnel. But then there's killers who won't care. Okay, they'll hit me through off the record. They'll chase me again. Oh, okay, I got away from decisive strike. I hit my DS skill check, and it's not like they just said, okay, I'm gonna leave you alone. I done had survivors save me with a flashlight or a flashbang. And the killer won't just go after them and hit them. They'll say, no, I'm going to go right after you because it is what it is. I'm just going to go straight after you. It doesn't mean they have to leave you alone, y'all. Why do killers do that? Killers will go after who they want to go after. Does that make sense? So that was from Charity, or Floor Smelling Survivor, whatever. I'm going to read Resi Kill, something like that. Said, you are completely right. And even if you weren't, it doesn't matter. Play how you want. He said he took a hit to protect the unhooker, then complained when you chased him. He literally took aggro and cried about receiving aggro. See, survivors, here's the thing. If you are going to take a hit, you got to understand I just think the problem is that y'all don't, killers and survivors do this. So if I unhook somebody, right, and that person take a hit because they have base kit BT, what do you think most killers will do? I'll let y'all decide. I'll give y'all time to respond in the comments. You play killer. You're going against a sweaty team. Okay? And I'm a survivor, man, looking at it from a killer's perspective. You go after a person and they unhook a survivor, and that survivor that got unhooked, that is complaining and bitching and moaning, saying, why are you going after me again, decides to take a hook, or to take a hit. What would you do in that situation? Again, survivor, stop doing this. It's tacky. It's ugly. Stop doing this. Stop taking hits And then, because killers are gonna do, bro. I done played against killers. They have acted an ass in so many ways that they like. It's like, bro, they have done to prove a point. I have had killers do so many. I'm talking about I didn't teabag. I didn't give them nopers. I didn't do anything, and they played in so many ways scummy. Why give them more of a reason by taking an aggro hit? Now you thinking. Now here's the thing. You can do that. You can take a hit if you want, man. It's your life. Take a hit. But if you do that, what do you think the killer is going to do in that situation? See, a lot of times y'all shouldn't be unhooking in me. I don't play with survivors, brothers and sisters, who have literally like unhooked right in front of the killer. And then y'all bitch about like, why are they going after us? I'm gonna tell y'all why. A lot of people be like, why don't you play with people? It's the reason why I don't play with people. Cause I don't have the patience. Cause you don't have too many times to get on my nerves. You don't have too many times. Does that make sense? You have one time to be on my team, and I'm going against a killer that's acting an ass today. Like they just got their taxes done and they got their money and they acting a straight ass, a donkey. Like they drunk at a bar in the club and literally act the ass as killer. And I wish you would do goofy stuff and be lose to that killer. It's either I'm not playing with you. See, I don't want to do that, especially when it comes to survive, like subscribe. I don't want to do those type of things because I know it. Like I think people don't have to take DBD seriously the way that they do, but they do. Especially if you're a competitor. Like I'm competitive. I don't like to lose. I don't think it's fun. But I can respect if a game went well and I'm like, okay, I had a very good game. But I don't like to lose. And I don't play with people, man, who just like they hide, they don't do things. And it's like on one hand, I'm like, okay, they're very new and they're scared and they don't understand why this game is asymmetrical. They're getting outplayed by a wraith. I mean, there's really good wraiths that go against, they pretty much all play the same, They do that little cloak, they try to fake the other thing. It's just like when they go against me, that's just how easy played. But it's like, I also try to understand, like, it's frustrating going against a killer that wants to slug and hit on hook and give you no burrs and all that stuff, right? Because that's just their personality. They just talking trash. That's just their personality, So, I don't know. I don't usually play with people because of that kind of reason. Long Charles says, why does a random person you've played against okay, no, I'm not gonna read that. That has nothing to do. Okay, that's the Infinite Hat 5261. It says, I'm a survivor, man. If I've unhooked someone, I understand being targeted by the killer at the moment. As you know that when a player is hooked, at least one other survivor will be going to that hook to do the unhooking. Okay. If I've been unhooked and the killer chooses to go after me instead of my teammate, then I'll be annoyed at the tunneling as you are targeting a weakened member. I like that. A weakened member? What are you talking? A weakened member? Why do you Infinite? Why do you have to put a weakened member? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about? Like, a weakened member? Like, boy, shut up. Or whatever, girl thing. I'm sorry. I don't want to. I'm not gonna. Okay. Anyway, target a weekend member, and believe me, there are killers out there that do this with that purpose. Okay. Yeah, they're trying to. Survivors. They're trying to. I just want to finish it. Okay. That being said, the best killers I've come across have been ones that hooked someone and left them to go after the other team members to success. They're checking the gens and find other players to chase and hook. Reading these as I'm tipsy, bro, it's so hilarious. It said those that constantly return to hook, yes, it's strategic, but I think it's something that separates good killers from great killers. I'm sorry, just from good killers to great killers. Oh man, like you're just putting them in the Hall of Fame of all killers. Like you're a good killer, man. You're strategic, but. Yeah, I can't. I don't know if you're like first ballot Hall of Famer. I don't know if I can call you that because, great killers don't return back to the hook and they ignore the other person. See, I want y'all to. Okay. The only time I think someone is tunneling is when there are at least 2 survivors with the same character outfit because the killer will. Okay. And that's another entitlement that I just find very interesting. So, survivors, y'all gotta like have this mentality of like, again, they're trying to win. Whether you think it's scummy, they're trying to win. And a lot of the times, as I said earlier, I just blame the survivors that, like, please stop unhooking in front of the killer. I think a lot of this stuff you guys will avoid if you stop doing that in front of the killer. Stop unhooking in front of the killer. There are killers who will camp the area. They got their whole tent out. They got marshmallows. They got a book to read. You know, they got a fire already lit. I mean, they're going to do what they want to do. The killer is the true only role that can actually play the way they really want and not have to worry about anyone else. The only other game mode they ever had to worry about that was the 2v8, which is why I think that 2v8 was more survivors. Not only did I think it was survivor-sided because of just like, I think it was survivor-sided because of like the class and stuff that we've had that were really good for survivors. Like the healing, the ultra wisdom, you know, being able to repair a pallet that was broken. That was so crazy. But I think like when y'all have this mentality of expecting killers to not, like, stop expecting killers to like not play the way they're gonna play. Is it annoying? Yeah. But like survivors want to be able to like bring, you know, these meme perks or these, you know, perks that meant to bully killer, like, I don't know, not being able to be hooked, you know, being, you know, that cape perk, I forgot, where it's hard to hook them and find a hook and, you know, all that. So like y'all want to be able to do what y'all want to do, but at the same time get mad when killer decides to say, you know what, I'm done with this. Or, because think about it, y'all gotta understand, killer probably, that when you face a killer, that could have been the killer's like 10th game. So your game is the killer's 10th game. Okay? 10th. And if everyone's running the same kind of builds and perks and teabagging and all this stuff, and even as you can imagine what they're saying when they're off streams, because there are survivors who are streamers talking, you know, saying all kind of wild stuff that's like TOS. So you can imagine what they're likely saying to that killer or giving them nopers and whatever. So like, what do you think that killer likely is going to do at some point where they're like, you know what, I'm tired of going through these survivors. All they do is act the ass and I'm tired of being nice. Like, they're going to eventually get on you. They're going to eventually do what they're going to do. And they're trying to win. A lot of times it's not personal. There are times it's personal. Like, say, go watch my video, man. It's the Christmas one with the clown stepping on the back of my knee or stepping on Hatch or something like that, you know. But a lot of times killers are going to play the way they play, and rightfully so. They're trying to win the game, yo. Okay, I'm gonna do this like for like an hour, so I got like 13 more minutes, so it's not so bad. Okay, this is from Flogging McCurry. It says, if the guy was unhooked, makes it a point to aggressively get in my way. So this is from a killer, man. I can sense. Make it aggressively get in my way, body blocking, etc. from my chasing someone else just to tank the hit or force a DS. I will wait it out, those timers, and throw them back on a hook. That's basically giving them a free hook when I wasn't going after the person who was previously hooked. At least that guy changed his tune from rude and apologized, which was fair. I definitely respected that he did that. Because he had to catch himself, right? A lot of times I do that too. There's times where if I'm talking to a killer man, and one thing about me, like, I slide in DMs. Anybody who ever know, like my boy Midas know, if you live, you gotta slide. Even if you're a live streamer, if you live, I gotta slide. If you do something very goofy, I gotta ask you a question. I don't care if I'm banned. Like, I don't care. Like, who are you, right? So he says, at least the guy changed his tune from rude and apologized, especially seeing as they were setting themselves up for a common ban. But both parties are right and wrong, simply because everybody has come up with their own rules and how they are defined. That scenario I just described in that first paragraph, that player will undoubtedly DC and get in my inbox for being toxic and tunneling them because they feel they can make that that play fairly to cover their team, where I might just have lost track of where the survivors, where the others went, and now they can potentially reset, and it can cost me another gen or two. My perspective versus theirs, which is fair. I was in this game, so I have no idea the severity of the situation, if you made the choice or it was forced on you. But regardless how you play in either role, someone will armchair their rule book to you. And that's literally all it is, right? People have, so basically what the guy was saying, he's a killer, man. He's saying, listen, if you make it a point, survivors, I don't like this mentality. And I'll close within like 10 minutes of this. It's 50 minutes now. Is that y'all gotta stop having this mentality. I know a lot of times it's like a rule book. They always get on Survivors with rule book. I think killers also have the rule book. You can check out the DBD tips and rants. You'll see I have a rule book video for killers and survivors, because both have rule books. Both. I don't have a rule book. I just talk my ish. But I'm not telling the other person to not do. I will say I have like, hey, a suggestion. Maybe if you want to call that a rule, that's fine too. But like, I mean, if I'm running a killer, right? Can you get on a gen? Can you like do something, right? But see, again, with MMR and all that stuff, I'd be having people with 1 hour or 8 hours or 8 seconds, and I got like 8,000. That's just how it is. I don't escape most of my matches. I main solo queue. If you listen to any survivor main that tells you that they escape all the time in solo queue, they are a killer main in disguise, trying to like lie and to prove a point, or they're just lying in general to prove a point. That's literally all it is. I know how this game works in and out. I promise you that's not how it works. Because the way that the devs made this game, I don't care how many hours you have. Did you escape? I don't care how long you looped the killer, how many flashbang saves you got, how many head-on stuns. Did you escape or did you die? Okay, cool. If you died, you're going back to MMR, like the lower MMR, right? Same thing with killer. I don't care how many hook stages if you had or whatever. The 3 survivors or more get out. Okay, you lost. That's literally how it is. But to his point, yeah, you know. Killers have to think about their gens. I don't think that tunneling a good survivor can cost you gens. If you go after one survivor, and my definition of tunneling is you just going after that one survivor. I don't care if they're off the hook or not. In my opinion, if you are, I wouldn't necessarily say it's tunneling in a sense of like, okay, how can I say this? Tunnel is tunnel vision. That means you see nothing else. You're going after that one thing. So if you want to go by definition, tunnel is like tunnel vision. I think, yes, if you go after one survivor off the hook, it's like, okay, you're trying to, maybe the wink link. In my opinion, I don't suggest you chase a very good survivor at the start of the match. A lot of times killers have this mentality where they're like, I want to go after that very good survivor in the beginning of the match. At the beginning of the match. Because if I get them out the game, then everybody else is just for the taking. Maybe they're weak. You might not even know if they're weak. You probably just chase that one good survivor and maybe cost you 3 gens, right? But in my opinion, if I'm a killer, I'm like, you know what? I might need to let my ego go, leave you alone until the end game, and then go after your other weak buddies, and then I either have hatch against you, or maybe I can just slug this for the second to the last survivor, and then go after you. Because I find it very interesting too. A lot of survivors do this too, right? They get and please like the podcast, please. If you guys enjoy it, please like and share and tell me your thoughts down below. If you've been tunnel, if you've been camped. But I just find it very funny that both roles will complain about this game. Both roles would do it, right? Both roles would be like, oh man, survivors this, survivors that. All survivors do is teabag and they gen rush. And then killer, all they do is slug and camp and tunnel. But I promise you, these be the same people. When roles all reversed, they play the exact same way. Why do y'all do it? Why is it that when you are a survivor, man, and you complain about the very things you hate, you jump on killer and do the exact same thing? And it happens all the time. Why do y'all do that? Why is it that when you are a killer, man, you complain about gen rushing and then y'all sit here and jump on survivor and play Dwight and just, y'all be toxic, y'all bring brand new parts. Y'all do the same thing. I don't know why y'all do it. Because it's just like y'all proving the point that like y'all are hypocrites. Like no one, I don't think people really like to lose unless they just don't care about winning. A lot of times people just don't care, and I understand that completely. But I just want y'all to understand that like both sides are toxic in this community. I just think that both sides are both hypocrites. Both sides have, their entitled ways. But I think survivors are the most ridiculous. And I'm a survivor. The survivors are the most ridiculous. Both sides play ways like both sides like survivors try to. I play with survivors that will literally get mad because I don't want to participate in like the farming with Killer. And Killer will also do this. And I want to be very clear on what's bannable, y'all. Right? Because a lot of times people, and I'll probably close with this. It's not bannable to tunnel and camp and hit on hug and bleed out in BM. It's not bannable. So you can do it if you want. If you want to like, oh, I'm going to report you. Okay, go ahead. But see, the dev's not going to care because it's likely stuff that's like not bannable 99% of the time. But working with the Killer, working with the survivor, are both bannable. So I don't know if I decide to not to farm with you and then you say I'm finna just like keep opening the locker because I'm hiding and they have lockers for survivors to hide. That's not bannable, y'all. There's times I'm trying to do my head-on plays and I have quick and quiet. I jump into the locker and then they keep tugging on the locker. That's bannable. I can't move and leave. And as you're pointing to the Killer where I could be at. And if the Killer participates and basically teaming up with you, that's bannable. So I just want to be very clear. When y'all talk about camping and tunneling, you may not like it. It sucks. But it's not bannable, y'all. So in conclusion, I had a lot of fun reading the comments. I had a lot of fun. I like reading stuff from Reddit. I don't mind it. Reddit is pretty interesting place. They have a lot of people that's on it. And this is from the post from DBD Rage. I may even post this in the link so you guys can check it out for yourselves. And maybe if you read something from there, maybe you can post in the comments, your thoughts and stuff like that. Are you a Killer main? Do you camp and tunnel and slug a lot? Are you a survivor main? Do you get camped and slug a lot? Do you try to win the game? Do you care? Do you not care? Do you not? Please let me know in the comments. Again, if you guys are listening to this on YouTube, MP4 version, which means you're just basically going to my YouTube channel, please like, share, subscribe, and share these things. Recommend it. Get me engaged. Cause I enjoy doing it. I feel like it's like a radio show. I enjoy doing these things. It helps you get through the day. But if you are, I'm also going to be uploading these Spotify, Apple Podcasts, so I can get followers and stuff like that on there too. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week. Next week, I'll figure out something else to talk about until there's actually like a video that I want to ask you to make. Like I said, sometimes there's not much in the community to talk about things. And like I said, listen to this when you're busy, just audio. This is just audio. Listen to this stuff when you can't pay attention. This could be like your morning drive. If you want early access, exclusive posts and all that other good stuff, you know where to find it. You can guys for $5 or $4.99 a month. Again, I'm only pushing that, not to pushing that seriously. I don't really care if you guys actually sub or not. It'd be nice, but if you don't, that's fine too. Everybody got their money situation. But I do recommend, please at least just like. That's all I can say. Likes really help this channel a whole lot. So, if nothing else, hope you guys are having a blessed day and a blessed week. Hope you guys are staying warm and safe. It's been a pleasure. Nia says hello. She was here the whole time just chilling. She's not feeling too well. Obviously, she's not real, obviously, type shit. But, But hey, if nothing else, have a blessed day. Stay safe. If nothing else, peace.